So we are joined in the studio today by Dan Lister from West Northamptonshire Council. Hello, Dan.
Good morning. Pleased to be here.
Yeah, great to have you here. So this is your chance to have your say. So we do this every couple of weeks with West Northamptonshire Council, where we invite the people that make the decisions in your town to come and kind of be held accountable. So if you've got something that you want to talk to the council about, if there's something, a bit of a gripe or just a question or just something you're wondering or something that you think we should be talking about that we're not, then this is your chance. Get in touch. We've just posted on our Facebook page, so you can send us a comment on there or get in touch in the usual ways. You can email info@revolutionradio.com, give us a ring on 01604 800 961 or text or WhatsApp us in the studio on 07852 961 961 and we will see your message and have a chat about it. But you're a man with many hats on at the council. You have one of the longest job descriptions I think I've ever seen. I shall read this quickly. Economic development, town centre regeneration and growth, adult learning, and the tourism strategy. That is an awful lot of hats to wear, or kind of balanced precariously on top of each other like a giant totem pole. I'd imagine it's quite a rewarding job getting to do all that kind of stuff. What are the main kind of things that you do on a day-to-day basis?
So for me, it's about delivering the best for the residents of West Northamptonshire. And if you look at all of those things that we offer in that portfolio, it's all about that growth, the quality of living, creating opportunities for the people that live here, and people that want to come here, and people who want to invest, people who want to get jobs here, people who want to move here, people who think, actually, it's a great place to live. I'm only an hour away from London, an hour away from Birmingham, an hour away from Oxford, an hour away from Cambridge. It's a real central place, and all of those parts of that portfolio feed into really delivering that quality of life for people.
Now, there's a couple of really big projects that you've been working on. One of them is the redevelopment of the town centre, and we were very lucky, weren't we, here in West Northampton? We got a big pot of money through from the government to regenerate the town centre, and I guess it was a tough decision deciding the best way to deploy those funds to kind of make the biggest difference long term.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's about getting the maximum impact for our money in the area and understanding those places where people want to be, people that will look at our streets and think, actually, this is a nice place to be, this is a good place to open a shop. Regeneration of the marketplace is a real key area. If we can get that livened up again, then that Abington Street public realm works, get people coming back and thinking this is a good place to do business, starting up our small businesses as well. Obviously, we have the Vulcan Works that we've just opened. So that's not about shops, it's about creative industries, but it's about creating more businesses and creating more growth within this area and creating quality jobs for people. It's not just low-paid jobs. We want to see people in West Northamptonshire having great jobs that are well-paid and enjoy living here. And
it must be satisfying to see stuff actually happening now. And over your shoulder, I can see a couple of massive yellow diggers at the moment, redeveloping the market square. There's huge activity going on there. The hoardings have been up for a few months now, and it really feels like things are gathering pace. And the next stage is Abington Street, which is going to be redeveloped as well. And that's going to happen kind of around the same sort of time later on this year?
Yeah, that's right, absolutely. Yeah, so we hope that'll be done by the end of 2024 time, around that time, because we want to see that coming through when the market's completed. So all of that work's done all at once. But we also have things like the water side, which that most people might know it as, or the bit opposite the station. There's procurement out for that. So we're looking at A-grade officing, a high-quality hotel there as well. We've got the NN Contemporary over on Guildhall, which people see Angel Street's closed at the moment. There's all the mechanical and electrical works. A lot of the work has already happened inside, but all of the mechanical and electrical are being done outside, replacement windows, doing all those things up. And Mayfair Heritage Park, there are so many things going on around Northampton at the moment. But this portfolio isn't about just delivering for Northampton. There's also Daventry, Towcester and Brackley as well, and it's understanding what we can do for those areas, even though we haven't had that big injection of cash from the government as we have for Northampton.
So today's a weird day because we've just had a long bank holiday weekend. Everyone's kind of getting back to work and kind of getting used to kind of being at work again after a few days off, and the weather's gone slightly cooler as well. So I think now is a good day to take stock and kind of plan ahead. And if you are in a local social enterprise or you're in a not-for-profit organisation and you're starting to think, actually, how are we going to make ends meet? There's some really good news has come through for those organisations that the council has been involved with. Can you tell me a bit more about that?
Yeah, so we launched about 8 weeks ago West Northampton Social Enterprise Town, which is funded through the Towns Fund and supported by the Northampton Forward Board, which is the Forward Board. It's a really important group of people. They're local businessmen, local stakeholders who come together and help support the direction for Northampton. But as part of that, where we acknowledge and really want to help foster and grow our social enterprises. And so we have two funds within the Towns Fund supported by the Forward Board, is for either startup social enterprises and for build-up, as we call them, social enterprises who are already existing, who have got a great idea and who want to grow it. And you can apply for grants up to £5,000 for either of those areas, and to really help support them as they're growing.
And it's going to make a big difference, I think, to some organisations, because £5,000 to many organisations is a lot of money that can make a real difference. And there's a huge range of these social enterprises in West Northamptonshire, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a great area, social enterprises. We have so many great things here in terms of those social enterprises, but also startup businesses as well. So many great startup businesses within the town as well. But there's also our voluntary and community sectors. Just launched those funds as well today. You can apply for up to £15,000 for those as well. So there's lots of money available for us to be able to support those groups that are doing great work for the people of West Northamptonshire and of Northampton.
Now, we keep hearing about how budgets are tight at the council, and things are tough. What's the sort of the strategy? What does it bring to the area to invest in these social enterprises?
Well, luckily the social enterprises are funded by the Towns Fund, so it's central government, so it doesn't come out of West Northamptonshire budget. But what it does is any of these tasks where people and voluntary and community as well, where they're supporting the community, that stops them. It's that preemptive work that the council needs to be good at and work with the local community for. Councils can't do everything, but where there's those preemptive items that the voluntary sector can do, social enterprise can do, that maybe stop people having to go onto universal credit or anything like that, support them in getting jobs, support them in upskilling. There's so many different things that people can do, that it's great, and it really helps the council in the long term.
Do you think it's a difficult message to get across sometimes that there are these different pots of money that fund different things, that it's not just, oh, well, you're spending money on this, why can't you spend money on that? It doesn't always work that way. Yeah,
absolutely. And things are ring fenced, and it's not just, we can't just put every money into potholes, and it is a challenging potholes are a big thing.
Potholes are very important.
I wish I hadn't mentioned it now, but potholes are a very big thing, but there are so many statutory things that the council has to do as well. There's between housing and then the roads and the waste, and you could go on. And we've got schools and education that have to be done, and there's that only leaves actually an astonishingly small amount of money that you can do other things with. Which is why when we did have some of that money left, we put additional funding. The government have given £1.8 million additional funding. That's not the only money that's going to. We have several hundred million goes into highways every year already. But it's additional funding for just addressing those potholes as well, because we know it's part of the thing, and it's part about that economic growth. And it's really important for me, because when people are coming in here and thinking, I want a job, I want them to have good roads to drive on and good train connections and things like that.
We're talking to Dan from West Northampton Council about a wide range of subjects, lots of different things that he deals with in his role at the council. And one of those parts of the role is looking after tourism and the tourism strategy for Northampton. It must be an interesting place to try and promote to people from outside Northampton, because we understand the town, we know what it's about, all the pros and the cons, the good as well as the bad. But it's kind of trying to think, what is the thing that is going to attract people to come to Northampton? Is it the shoe heritage? Is it the historic buildings? Is it the cultural aspects, the theatres? And what would you say, in a nutshell, is kind of the selling point of Northampton for people from outside?
I think actually the key is West Northamptonshire. It's the variety of what we've got. We're not just a peak district where you can go walking, and we're not just known as a place for a music scene or something. It's actually the depth and the breadth of what we've got here. Whether you want to go walking in the countryside, whether you want to go to a historic house, we have Solgrave, Washington's ancestral family home, we have Althorpe. Whether you want to go to a battlefield at Naseby, whether you want to go to a great museum museum or go to the theatre. There are so many options that we actually have within this area, and we need to develop that strategy to be able to sell them and get people to understand what a great place this is to visit. And come and spend your holiday, come and spend your time here. And that links into our waterside offering and get some quality hotel accommodation here as well.
Do you think the challenge is that it's quite a lot to try and get across in a pithy 5-second soundbite? Is there a slogan or something that can encapsulate all of that?
I'm sure there will be. I'm just not good at making them up myself. So I'm sure there'll be some great minds in our comms department who are thinking of some great slogan to come up with. About
is that one of the things that you will be working on, though?
Absolutely. And it's that website offer, it's that selling offer that people can come. If you Google what there is to do in Northamptonshire, you get very few offerings. You get obviously all the individual offer. With Rockingham Castle, for instance, and Althorpe split between west and north. But actually, there's no one place where you go to in West Northamptonshire or Northamptonshire tourism where you can see this is what there is. We need to be a lot better at doing that so people can see what there is to do here, and as I say, the great offering, the highest concentration of country houses in the country. In fact, we're the only place, the Rennie Mackintosh house, the only one outside of Scotland, right here in the town in Northampton.
So is that something that there will be a sort of a local tourism board kind of thing?
Yes. So the government. So originally there was local tourism boards. So the government are asking us everyone to create local visitor economy areas. So we'll look at probably working with North Northamptonshire, because it does make sense. It's one of those things that makes sense working together as an area, because we do share that common history and heritage as a county together, and people still, when they're visiting Northamptonshire, see it as Northamptonshire. You don't necessarily see the local administrative boundaries between the west and the north.
Absolutely. Okay, so one of the things that's coming up in terms of tourism is the Heritage Open Days, which are a big thing across the country, but here in Northamptonshire, there's some amazing opportunities to visit places you wouldn't normally be able to go to for free or at all.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many partners who come together for Heritage Open Day, Heritage Open Days, and to be able to visit those. And there's lots of websites and things where you can go in. I encourage people to go and see what there is. Come and have a look and see there's something for everyone to do on Heritage Open Day. And of course, that we've got our Ukrainian art exhibition coming up, which is the first inside the UK. There's been nowhere else that's been showing this. It's about the Ukrainian war. And I think there's so many people who've opened their doors in West Northamptonshire, so many Ukrainian refugee families I've spoken to, and it's great that so many people within this area have been that kind and opened their houses up to people who are really struggling in Ukraine at the moment.
I think there's a real fascination about the Ukrainian culture that we probably didn't have in this country before the war, that people have kind of taken Ukraine into their hearts, and they want to know more. That we had the Eurovision Song Contest a few weeks ago, and everybody was just really enjoying the chance to celebrate Ukrainian culture. And this is a great way to kind of see what there is. It's a nation that's been there for thousands of years and has its own history, its own culture. And this exhibition at the museum this weekend and the art gallery, and it runs for a couple of weeks, but it opens on Saturday. It's a chance to see some of the artwork from Ukraine, which has been brought over here for us to enjoy, and kind of share that with the people that you've got to know in the community from Ukraine. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think those people, we need, as you say, they've got their own culture and they've got their own heritage. They've had a checker background through the USSR in terms of the struggles that they've had throughout those times, and they've come out of that as a strong country, and now they're being plunged back into war again. It's just we need to support them, and we support them as a country, and I think we're doing absolutely brilliantly as a country in supporting them, both personally throughout taking in refugees as a population, and through our military help as well.
Yeah, and I think also just really importantly to see beyond the war and see that there's so much more that they have to offer the world, and kind of get to know them on a more personal level.
Yeah, and I think we have to remember that when the war ends, there's going to be so much that needs to be done. There's going to need to be help rebuilding and help people getting back and readapting their lifestyles again. There's going to be many thousands of people who've died as well. So there's going to be families who need supporting, and it's going to be a long-term effort by the global community in rebuilding Ukraine afterwards.
Absolutely. So if you want to find out more about that exhibition, it's on our website, revolutionradio.com, and also the West Northamptonshire Council website. You can find out a few more details, but I would urge you to get along to that, which starts this Saturday here in Northampton. And great to spend the day with Dan Lister. It's all right, you don't have to stay here for the whole day. Great to spend a couple of hours in your company talking about all things Northampton and West Northamptonshire, and your particular areas of interest, which include the regeneration of the town centre, which is a massive thing that so many people have really taken under their wing, and like the traders up and down Abington Street and in the town centre, and the shoppers, everybody's talking about it. I think everybody's quite excited to see what happens, and feels like we've got past one of the biggest hurdles, which was moving the market and getting the redevelopment underway, and now the diggers are there, the holes are in the ground, things are underway, and it kind of feels like progress is being made.
Absolutely. Yeah, we had the Vulcan Works before, which is open, the then contemporary parts that are happening there. But the market square is that real visible one that people can see, that people know something's happening. Northampton is changing. There are new things coming within the town centre that are the step change as to how we need to develop our future high street. Unfortunately, the old high streets have gone. You know, BHS have gone bust. Debenhams have gone bust. You know, House of Fraser's gone bust. All these people have gone. Marks and Spencer's were withdrawing from the high street. All the big shops are going. They're consolidating, and we need to think about how we create a new high street that supports our traders, that supports our small independent shop owners. You know, it wasn't so long ago that St Giles Street won High Street of the Year, and there's some great atmosphere around in this area, and there's some great shops as well, and we need to support those and bring more of those out so that people have that offer that they want to come to. You know, we have to make it a choice thing. You don't need to come here because you want to go to some big shops, but you want to come here because it's got a great atmosphere, it's got a great vibe, there's some great offerings of things that you won't just get by going to a big place like Rushton Lakes or Milton Keynes. You know, the independent shops, those boutiques, all the great things, cheese shops, butchers, returning it to a much nicer experience style high street, as well as the great food and beverage offering that we've got as well.
And do you think market traders are a big part of that? Because, you know, they're independent, they're unique to that area, and you know, is it about attracting the right market traders as well as having a vibrant market? Yeah,
I think our 6-day a week market traders, you know, currently supporting those down at Commercial Street, and absolutely, you know, we want to see those return. There are some great offerings down there, but it's also about supplementing that. The number of traders have reduced over the years. You know, it's gone from where the whole marketplace was full of traders down to a handful of ones really that are trading 6 days a week. But it's about getting new market traders coming in, and those rotating markets as well, whether we can see, you know, artisan markets, craft markets, farmers markets that supplement it. It's not instead of, it's as well as, and working together. You know, if we can drive that footfall there, everyone's happy. The people are coming in, they're buying new things, new offerings on the market, but then they're also going to buy some fruit and veg from one of our fruit stalls, or some flowers, or anything like that.
I think that the success of Bike Street shows that people will come out in droves if you've got a good offering there, and a variety of food traders and things. And it was nice to see them supporting Commercial Street and just showing that at any location, if you get it right, people will come down.
Absolutely, Bike Street, and we had the vintage market there as well, and the amount of people there was absolutely phenomenal. And that's why we want to create that vibe every single week within the town centre. You know, we've got that new development, we've got our new seating going in, we've got our new fountain, we've got it's all been thought out. The tree planting, new lighting, so it's not, you know, we don't have dark corners where people, you know, who maybe want to create antisocial behaviour or low level crime can congregate. We've got new CCTV that are covered, so it's really key for us to be able to make the marketplace a community area again, where people feel safe walking across it. People feel safe whatever time of the night, whether that's 2:00 in the afternoon or 2:00 in the morning.
I think there's still murmurs of dissatisfaction from the existing market traders down at Commercial Street, and they say they've given it a go. They're down there, and the footfall isn't the same as it was at Market Square. What would you say to those traders?
Yeah, I mean, we're working to support them as much as we can. We already give them free rent and utilities, so it's not costing them anything to trade there from a council perspective, which is really important for us to support them. We keep on doing our promotion. There's lots of promotional boards around the Market Square, but we appreciate that. We're looking again what other events we can put on in there to drive that footfall, to help them maintain trade, because we do want to see them come back to to the new market. We don't want to see anyone disappear. There's lots of myths and rumours that the council want to kill off the market, which is just completely not true. We're creating a new market. We're creating fixed stores. We're creating a place where people want to go to and support our traders. We've got a long history of having a market within Northampton town, and we don't want to see that go, and I certainly don't want to see that go. But we just need to carry on supporting them, and I'll ask anyone who's listening to go down there, go and see what there is. There's some great offerings down there. Please go and visit them and support them.
Are you going to continue with the free parking offer that's on at the moment?
Yeah, so we extended the free parking. The benefit now is the NCP car park is going as well, so that's going to be 2 hours free parking all of the time. So again, there's free parking down there. As long as the market's there now, regardless of what we do, there is free parking at Commercial Street, but it will be continued on at least until the NCP car park stops charging.
So thank you very much for joining me today, Dan. It's been very interesting. Thank you to everybody that's got in touch, and we're going to be continuing to do this every few weeks. So if you have any questions to put to West Northampton Council, you can always do that on the website at revolutionradio.com, where you can also watch the interview again at your leisure. And if there's any burning questions, then you can put them to the council. So what are you kind of working on at the moment? What's the next big thing for Northampton?
Yeah, so our waterside, there's so many different big projects that are happening at the moment. We've got, waterside, but BHS M&S is one we haven't mentioned yet. So finishing our acquisitions of different pieces of land that we have to make that site come forward. There's asbestos being cleared out of the M&S site at the moment.
Yeah, that's something that I think a lot of people don't realise how much work is needed, because you look at the timeline and you think, why is it going to take them so long just to turn that into a usable building? But it's going to take years, isn't it?
It's a question I pose myself to the officers all of the time, which much there, but there is. Once you dig down into it, it does take a long time. The asbestos clearance works alone are extremely expensive because both of those buildings were riddled with asbestos, unfortunately. Then you have to demolish the whole thing. You have to go through procurement. You have to find out master planning, going through the planning process, understanding what you want to build there. What does it look like? There are so many processes to follow before you actually even get to putting a brick on the ground to start with. But once it happens, it's that creating that high street that we want, that the people of Northampton want, getting rid of buildings that were built 40 so years ago that aren't really nice looking buildings, I would say, and creating something new for the high street that people are proud of.
It's so difficult to take a building down that's got asbestos in, isn't it? You've got to be so careful, especially when it's right in the middle of a busy high street. It must be a nightmare.
Absolutely. You've got to have specialist contractors in, all health suits, and you have to go into a big tent and make sure there's all the proper extraction and stuff. Because really unpleasant stuff, and so many people die of asbestosis every year. So lots of people still die of that. So you can't say how careful you have to be around that stuff.
No, horrible stuff. Okay, well, thank you very much for coming in, and we will catch up with you again in the coming months, because there's always so much going on in Northampton, and great to be able to hear it from the horse's mouth, so to speak. But thank you very much. That's Councillor Dan Lister from West Northamptonshire Council, talking about all of the stuff that's been going on in the town, and will be going on. Revolution.